James chapter 3. This is a short chapter, but boy, is it packed with truth. This is two parts to it. The first part is the taming the tongue. The second part is talking about two kinds of wisdom. So let's look at the taming the tongue. I think that there's quite a bit to be said. I got the 10 nuggets of truth out of this chapter, and 7 of those are about the tongue. So you can see there's quite a bit to say about the tongue, and it's an amazing thing that a lot of times we don't consider the strength of the tongue. But I think Jesus really wanted James to explain this to us, that we would understand that we need to be aware of what we say and how we say it. Let's just take a look at it here. I'm going to pick out the nuggets. I want you to read this chapter for yourself, but let me just share with you the 7 nuggets of truth that I found about the tongue. It says the tongue, a small part of the body, it can corrupt the whole body. Now, did you hear that? It's a very small part of your body, but it can corrupt your whole being. As a matter of fact, your reputation is based on your tongue. How you use it, you'll either be known by a person that speaks the truth or is a liar. And there's no way around it. You're either doing good with your tongue or doing evil. So you can use curse words. Some people try to be a Christian and misuse their tongue all at the same time. And we'll find out that you cannot do that and be in the will of God. It says, be careful what you teach. Teachers will be judged more strictly. This is a verse in here that really I taught class for a long time. And he's saying that we, the ones that teach, are going to be judged more strictly. Because what you're doing, you're handling the Word of God. It's very delicate. It's very powerful. And if it's used right, it will save souls. But if it's not used right, and if it's false, you will destroy souls. So he takes a real interesting look at this and says that there will be judgment for the people that misuse their tongue when it comes to teaching. It says anyone that is never at fault in what they say are perfect and keeps their whole body in check. Well, good luck with that. Number one, there's no one perfect. So that goes to show that we do not keep our whole body in check, but we need to be aware of that we need to work on that. And he acknowledges the fact we will, number 4, we all stumble in many ways. And this is one of the ways that we stumble. Sometimes we say before we think. Then once we've said it, then we regret it. And then we can't take it back. We've already done damage to the person that we were in an argument with or mad with, and you can't take it back. So it's a very damaging thing. But we do all stumble in many ways. And this is interesting what he says, the truth number 5 nugget says, no man can tame the tongue. Now, did you hear that? No man. That means you cannot tame your tongue at the level it needs to be tamed. But look what he says then. Even though man can tame all kinds of animals, birds, and reptiles, and creatures of the sea. We know that man can tame animals, and we're talking about some of the strongest and the scariest animals. I mean, there's lions and elephants and all these different animals that man can tame, yet it seems like we can't tame something as simple as our own tongue. And it's just crazy. But he's really pointing this out to us. says the tongue, number 6, the nugget of knowledge here. The tongue is small but powerful. And this is what he compares to. It's like a bit in the mouth of a horse. A bit is very small. It fits in the mouth of a horse that's able to turn the whole body of the horse. You can make that horse go different directions. You can make it turn around. All these things with that little bit in its mouth. And like the rudder that steers a large ship, just a small rudder on a large ship you can guide and go through the water in different directions by guiding that rudder. And then something that I'm quite aware of, you can set the whole course of his life on fire. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison. I think I got into I'll have to back up on that. That there is part of the truth nugget of number 7. Let me finish out number 6. It's talking about the horse, and then it's talking about the rudder that steers a large ship. Then it talks about a small spark of fire that sets a great forest fire. We can relate to that with California and out west, all these fires, and some of it's just sparked from a campfire or somebody throwing their cigarette out. And it rages and destroys hundreds of homes every year. This happens every year, and it's going on right now in California. So just a spark, and that's the way the tongue is. Just a little word can just totally throw everything out of control and can cause really a bad situation of hurt feelings. And sometimes they're never resolved and never forgiven. So number 7, this is where I got to a little bit too early. But this truth says the tongue can corrupt the whole person and set the whole course of his life on fire. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison. Very descriptive. I think it's very descriptive how it describes how deadly and poisonous the tongue is. And I don't think that there's any way that we cannot see the extreme danger of our tongue. He has really, really, really described it in such depth that anybody can pick up on this and understand what he's saying. He's saying, watch your tongue. It is poisonous, and it will destroy. It is deadly poison. And said it is a restless evil. Satan is the one that wants us to have no control of our tongue. He wants us to cause all these fights and everything with our misuse of our tongue. Now we switch to another area. Again, I think this is something important that Jesus would like for us to understand. And James is the spokesperson in this. And it has to do with wisdom. And I think that's something we all want. That's what Eve wanted. As a matter of fact, the original sin had to do with wisdom. Satan told her, if you eat that fruit, well, it'll make you as wise as God. Well, how about that? She would be as wise as God. It sounded like something that she would want to do, and the fruit looked good. So she thought, well, and he said, surely you won't die from eating it. And he convinced her that it was no big deal. So for that wisdom, she ate and found out the wisdom only took her just so far. The wisdom that God wanted her to have is that she would surely die now. And all mankind has to die because of that sin, that original sin. But anyway, we do seek after wisdom. Some of us go to school forever. I mean, we'll go through the necessary 12 years of school because it's mandatory. And then we have the option of going on. We can go to college. We can do graduate work. We can be in school for half our life if we choose to. And the whole reason is we're wanting to gain wisdom because wisdom in some way makes us more important. It makes us more valuable, and it helps us with our income. So yeah, that's what we want to do, but that wisdom is mostly what we would call earthly wisdom. Now there's another kind of wisdom, and that's the spiritual wisdom. This is the wisdom God really wants you to have. And this is the wisdom that so often is not even on our priority list. We are so busy getting the earthly wisdom to get rich in this world and have all the many things we want that we disregard anything about the wisdom that God would have us know about, and that's in His Word, the Bible. He says, and this is the 8th nugget of truth, and this has to do with wisdom. There are two kinds of wisdom, earthly and heavenly, and that's what we had just said. And the 9th truth I found in this is earthly wisdom is non-spiritual, and of the devil, where you have envy and selfish ambition, and results in disorder and every evil practice. Now, it can be of the devil, and I think the devil uses earthly wisdom in a way to pull you away from God. But earthly wisdom is not all bad. It is necessary. I think we should seek earthly wisdom, but not let it become our God. And that's where the danger comes in. We spend every bit of our time seeking earthly wisdom and have no regard for God's spiritual wisdom. That's what gets us in trouble. So don't say, well, I'm not going to go to school because it's evil. That is not true, and we shouldn't use that as a reason not to go to school. When it becomes evil is when it becomes our priority in life. It actually becomes our God. It takes all of our time, and we have no time left for God at all. That's when it becomes evil. So we just need to balance out a little bit how the time we spend, how we spend it, and what kind of wisdom we're looking for. Heavenly wisdom is pure, peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Now you think of those qualities and what spiritual wisdom is. Do you think this world needs it? I would think so. Every one of us needs spiritual wisdom in our life, and it'll make our life a lot. What can I say? Our life will become a lot less hectic and nerve-wracking. Anxiety and all that would probably disappear if we had the wisdom, the heavenly wisdom. So that's where we are with chapter 3. Again, watch your tongue. It is poisonous if used the wrong way. And when it comes to wisdom, seek earthly wisdom, but don't forget the spiritual wisdom. Don't let earthly wisdom become dominant in your life and take all your time away from finding the spiritual wisdom that God wants you to have. And I think with that suggestion, we can live successful lives in this world that's so corrupt. Thank you, and we'll be looking at chapter 4 next. So have a good evening, and we'll talk to you later.